Can you touch your eyeball with your finger? That's probably a weird way to start the video. Because if you can't do this, you probably should not start wearing contacts. However, if you still choose to ignore my warning, then my friend, you are going to have to experience some traumatic moment. Like the time I accidentally put 5 contact lenses on one eyeball. But that's a story for the end of the video. But for now, the first moment of contact lens trauma always starts when you first try to put them in. See, even though I fully knew how uncomfortable putting contact lenses in would be, I was just so glad I could finally ditch the glasses because I straight up look like Meg Griffin. But anyways, your question probably is, what does it feel like when you try to put it onto your eye? Well, I'll tell you one thing, it's definitely not a comfortable experience. See, when you try to put contact lenses in for the first time, your eyes will not be used to the sensation. So the second you try to place the contact on the colored part of your eye, instinctively you're going to look this way, that way. And for those who don't know, the contact only suctions onto the eyeball when it's placed directly on the cornea. If you put it anywhere else, it just won't suction to the eyeball. So your first 10, 20, 30 attempts is just going to be you repeating that grueling process over and over and over again until your eye looks so baked. However, this is not even the traumatizing part, because on the attempt where you finally get it to stick to the eye, you won't be excited. Trust me. Because after a bunch of attempts, your contact is bound to get some dirt, grime, even hair inside the lens. And placing that dirty lens onto your eyeball, that, my friends, is the traumatizing part. The only way I can explain this pain is imagine just tipping a bunch of sand into your eyeball while not blinking. And then, instead of rubbing your eyes and washing the sand out, you have a contact lens actively sucking onto your eyeball and pressing those sand particles into your eye. Ooh. And you know what? It gets worse. Because when this happened, I was only learning how to put the contact lens in, which means I had no clue how to take it out my eye. If we were ranking torture methods, this has got to be above everything. So I was freaking out. I was flushing it out with water. I was trying to touch my eyeball, taking it out, but nothing was working. But thank God, after 2 minutes of excruciating pain, the contact lens fell out my eye. Oh my God, the amount of relief I felt was insane. Because when you're in this pain, your body literally goes into fight or flight mode, except the cause is literally strapped to your eyeball. And if you think this only happens when you learn to put it in, you'd be so wrong. It literally happened to me 2 days ago, which gave me the idea for this video. But after you've learned to put them in and take them out, congratulations! You've mastered contacts. Just kidding, fuck you. There is so much more to learn. Like, did you know that contact lenses can literally invert themselves? So you need to know if the contact lens is facing the right way. And if you don't, let me introduce you to traumatic experience number 2. Here are 2 photos of contact lenses. See how this one's more rounded and this one has a lip at the edge? If it looks like this, you're good to go. But if it looks like this, do not put it in your eye. See, when an inverted contact gets touched on the eye, it will still suction a little bit, but the second you blink, the contact lens is going to try to flip itself back around into the right way. And it's gonna do this in the not so comfort under your eyelid. Ooh, yuck. The only way I can describe this is imagine an ant crawling on your eyeball while your eyelids are closed. Oh, dude, I'm just getting goosebumps just thinking about it. So when you're putting contacts in, please make sure it is the right way up. Now we'll talk about the 5 contact lenses in one eye story very soon, but first, let's talk about the biggest pet peeve I have with contact lens. Getting in bed and forgetting to take your contact lenses out. Oh my God. For those who've never experienced this, you're probably like, yeah, whatever, mate. But this scenario is kind of like, well, I don't know, when you leave your light on and you get into bed, it's just such a minor inconvenience that it just triggers you way more than it should. But on occasions, there is some times where you just do not want to take them out and you decide to make the big mistake to sleep in your contacts. This is a big no-no because when you sleep in contact lenses, it limits the amount of oxygen the eye can get, which creates a dry bacteria trapping environment, which if you do this long enough can literally make you go blind. And unfortunately, I'm guilty of this more than I'd like to admit. The worst instance of this happening to me was about 2 years ago, where I just didn't care and fell asleep with my contacts in. And when I woke up, oh my God. Because of how dry my eyes had gotten, both my eyelids were stuck together, meaning I literally could not open my eyes. And I was so terrified. But after I finally got them unstuck, I realized, holy shit, I slept in my contacts. But these contacts were nowhere to be seen. I checked my left eye, they weren't there. I checked my right eye, it wasn't there. Where the hell could these have gone? So I rushed to the mirror and oh my God, the sight I saw. At the top of both my eyelids, I just see 2 bumps. Now it looked nothing like this image, but there was 100% something under my eye. So I go to touch it and the realization just hits me. In my sleep, both my contact lenses had moved behind my eye. Behind my eye! And for those who have never experienced this, feel so grateful, because it is just as uncomfortable as you'd think it would be. And I was freaking out. I'm like, man, is it gonna go into my brain? Am I gonna be a vegetable? So I called over my parents, and they were kind of freaking out a little bit, because the only way to take them out is to use your fingers and fish out the contact lens from the top of your eye. Oh my god, it is just as disgusting as you think. You don't want this happening. Now it's time for what you guys have all been waiting for. The story when I put 5 contacts in one eye. But if you've enjoyed this video so far, please consider subscribing. We are so close to hitting 1,000 subscribers, so thank you. Back to the video. So you might be thinking, how the hell do you put 5 contacts in one eye? Well, see, I was about 10 years old, so my frontal lobe wasn't fully developed yet, let's say. It was early in the morning, I was tired as hell, but blurry vision was not an option. I put the first contact in, everything's all good. But when I go to put the second one in, I'm like, wait, which eye has the contact in it? Now, any normal person in this situation would cover one of their eyes and see if the other is blurry. But see, I just did not think of that, and I took the gamble, all in on black. So I put the second contact lens in my left eye again. Now, by now, you'd probably expect me to correct my mistakes and finally put a lens in my right eye. But no, I can tell something is wrong, but I just couldn't put my finger on it. So I put another one in my left eye. Like, I have 3 contact lenses in one eye at this point, and I'm completely clueless to it. I swear, one of the characters from Men in Black kept shooting me with one of their memory eraser guns, because I did this another 2 times until I ran out of contact lenses. I had no more. And by now, you'd expect me to finally click with what I was doing wrong, but that just didn't happen. All I knew is that my left eye was painful as hell. So I'm like, man, maybe contact lenses is not for today. So I go to take the left contact lens out my eye, and I'm like, what the hell? My left eye is still clear. I try again. Another contact lens comes out. I'm like, what? There's 2 in one eye. But my eye still feels weird, so I try another time. And this time, 3 contact lenses come out at the exact same time. And at this point, I realized my dad was watching me this entire time. I'm like, oh shit. This guy straight up watched me put 5 contact lenses in the exact same eye and didn't think to tell me. Let's just say, for that school day, I had to make a comeback as Meg Griffin.